Liu Yuning appeared on the CCTV stage, but this time he was not there to sing, not as a contestant, not as a performance guest, and not as part of a familiar entertainment twist designed to create momentary excitement. He sat down, listened carefully, and spoke only when it mattered. That single change in position was enough to make many viewers stop scrolling, stop chatting, and look again. Because for anyone who has followed Liu Yuning's journey closely, this was not a casual appearance. It was not a role given lightly, and it was not something that happened overnight. From a singer who once performed in open public spaces, outside any formal system, relying on passers-by who chose to stay or walk away, Liu Yuning now appeared on CCTV3 as a special guest mentor on the national music program, China's Outstanding Singers. No dramatic introduction, no exaggerated framing, just a quiet confirmation of who he had become. The moment was calm, almost understated, yet it carried an undeniable weight. On this stage, the seat of evaluation is not offered easily. It is reserved for those whose careers have proven not only visibility, but reliability. And perhaps what struck viewers the most was not how confident Liu Yuning looked, but how natural the role seemed to him. He did not rush to assert authority. He did not attempt to dominate the conversation. He simply listened. His posture was relaxed but focused, his tone steady, his words measured and precise. There was no trace of someone trying to prove that they deserved to be there. Instead, there was the presence of someone who understood exactly why he had been invited. For the general audience, this might have looked like just another music show moment. But for those familiar with how China's mainstream broadcasting system works, this appearance carried a deeper meaning. CCTV is not a platform for spontaneous experimentation. It does not assign mentor roles based on short-term popularity, trending topics, or temporary attention. Sitting in that seat signals more than fame, it signals trust. Trust in experience, trust in judgment, trust in stability, and that is why many people paused when they saw Liu Yuning in that position. Because his journey into the industry did not begin on television. Long before professional stages, long before cameras and production teams, Liu Yuning sang in places without spotlights. There were no guaranteed audiences, no applause cues, no structured environment to support him. Sometimes only a few people stopped to listen. Other times, his voice blended into the noise of the street, competing with traffic, conversations, and indifference. It was there, in those uncontrolled spaces, that he learned a lesson no training program could teach. If the voice does not reach people honestly, they will not stay. There were no lighting effects to hide behind, no editing to correct mistakes, no safety net. Just the song, the emotion behind it, and the immediate reaction of strangers. That path was slow, it was uncertain, and it demanded resilience. But it also forced him to develop something essential: the ability to stand firmly on his own talent without relying on external validation. As time passed, Liu Yuning gradually gained recognition. Opportunities appeared. Larger stages opened up. Music programs familiar to the public began to invite him. He stood on stage with a microphone, delivering performances filled with emotion. Sometimes powerful and intense, sometimes restrained and reflective. Over time, audiences came to associate him with a voice that carried strength and clarity, and a performance style that felt sincere rather than manufactured. Yet even as his exposure increased, Liu Yuning never became the type of artist who chased spectacle for attention. He did not constantly place himself at the center of controversy. He did not rely on visual gimmicks to maintain relevance. He did not rush to define himself through labels or headlines. Instead, he stayed with the work, with music, with gradual growth. That is why his appearance on CCTV as a mentor did not feel like a sudden transformation. It felt like a natural continuation of a long process. From someone who once stood waiting to be evaluated, to someone now trusted to offer evaluation. This shift did not produce loud reactions, but it lingered in the minds of viewers, because it raised an important question about success in the entertainment industry. At what point does success stop being measured by how often you appear, and start being measured by the role you are allowed to play? On China's Outstanding Singers, Liu Yuning did not position himself above the contestants. His comments were thoughtful and restrained. He did not speak to display authority, nor did he criticize for effect. Instead, he focused on fundamentals: emotion, connection, and understanding. He paid attention to whether the contestants truly felt the songs they were singing, whether they understood the story behind the lyrics, whether their performances came from a place of honesty rather than technique alone. It was a mentoring style grounded not in theory, but in lived experience. He understood what it meant to stand on stage with uncertainty, to sing without knowing whether anyone would stay to listen. And that understanding shaped the way he spoke. The program itself, China's Outstanding Singers, aired on January 16, 2026 on CCTV3. It is positioned as a training-oriented music show designed to discover and develop young vocal talents with strong technical foundations and long-term potential. Liu Yuning participated as a special guest mentor, listening to performances, offering feedback, and sharing insights drawn from his own stage experience. His segment was recorded in Beijing on November 19, 2025, alongside established mentors such as Zhou Shen and Joker Sui. Notably, the way official channels introduced Liu Yuning's role remained restrained. There was no sensational language, no attempt to frame his appearance as shocking or dramatic. The focus remained on suitability, experience, and professionalism. This approach prevented the moment from turning into controversy. Instead, it allowed viewers to interpret it as a logical step forward. On a broader level, Liu Yuning's role as a mentor on CCTV represents something larger than a single appearance. CCTV is a platform where professional roles are closely tied to credibility. Being invited into that space as a guide suggests recognition not only of skill, but of character. This does not mean that Liu Yuning has moved away from performance. Rather, it suggests an expansion, a quieter, more sustainable way of being present in the industry. An artist does not need to step away from the stage to grow. Sometimes growth comes from standing in a different position. For many viewers who have followed Liu Yuning's career from the beginning, this moment carried emotional weight. It was not about reaching a final destination. It was about reaching a place of stability, a place where he no longer needed to prove himself through constant visibility, a place where his experience itself had become valuable. From singing in anonymous public spaces to offering evaluations on a national television stage, this journey was not built in a single moment. It was shaped by time, persistence, and restraint. And as the program continues, audiences are left with a quiet but compelling question. Is this a stopping point in Liu Yuning's journey? Or is it simply the quiet beginning of a deeper, more enduring chapter, one defined not by volume but by substance? Only time will answer that.